Hey guys, Randy Bartlett here. Today I'm going to talk about planning. And you know, it's interesting. All DJs think they do a lot of planning and they're really good at it. But then I talk to them about how much and how deep they do the planning, and I find most DJs do pretty superficial planning. I tell my clients, I could plan your entire wedding with you in 15 minutes, and at the end of that time I could say, can you think of anything I missed? And they would say, genuinely, no, I can't think of anything at all. Because they don't know what they've missed. But most DJs are like, are you going to do a bouquet toss? Yes, great. Do you have a song for that? Maybe they go that deep, maybe not. What's your first dance? Got it. But there's so much deeper that you can go. I just finished a planning meeting for a wedding that I have coming up in a few weeks. I know I'm supposed to be retired, but still I'm doing a couple. So I have a wedding end of April, and I did the planning session today. Took a little over 3 hours, which is pretty normal for my planning session. During that time, I'm going to try to show you kind of what this looks like as much as I can. I'm not sure how well it'll show up on video, but my clients I'm sitting at my desk. My clients sit across the desk from me, and so the view they have is what you see up over here on my shoulder. That's their agenda, and then I'm going to spin this around, and what I'm working on in the meantime is, at my desk here. So I'm sitting here working at my desk on my computer, and then it shows up so they can see everything up there. And we go through planning it all out. So one of the questions I get asked sometimes is, well, what do you talk about? How do you spend 3.5 hours? Well, just as an example, tonight we spent, probably 10 minutes talking about their anniversary dance. And they knew they wanted to do an anniversary dance, and they knew who the first and second place people were going to be. So it's not just, we're going to do an anniversary dance, cool, but who's going to be the longest married? And they had a second couple who was going to be married, and the groom's grandparents were going to be the longest married. So we talked about, okay, now that we've done the anniversary dance and they're going to be the longest married, how are we going to end that? What's the transition out of this? And I gave them several different options. And then I came up with something tonight that I had never used before that seemed to work really well for this couple, which was one of the suggestions I gave was that the couple who was married the longest could give them some words of advice. Another option that I gave them was that they could finish the dance by dancing, and it's the groom's grandparents, so the bride would dance with his grandfather while he danced with his grandmother. That was another option. And they liked both of those. So then I thought, well, what if we did this? This bride and groom are pretty outgoing, and I said, why don't we have them give that advice to you when you come out to dance with them directly to you, while the rest of us continue to dance. And then after 30 or 45 seconds of that, I will then cut in, will congratulate the couple once again, and I will ask the bride and groom what advice was passed on to them that they'll be able to use in their marriage. So it's a little variation, and that took me a few extra minutes to do, as opposed to going, you want an anniversary dance? Okay, cool, what song? But now we've created this really cool thing where his grandparents, who helped raise him when he was little, are going to get a really cool moment with them. But we do that on everything, and sometimes people ask about do I have a checklist for the planning? I mean, I have a basic format that I use, but it really depends on what we do. So as we start going through things and we talk about, will there be a blessing? And they say no, then it requires always one more question. Well, would your family expect a blessing? And listen, those of you who know me, I'm an atheist. I'm not trying to talk anybody into invoking God into anything. However, if that's important for the family, then it should be for them. In this case, they had said no for a blessing, but then they said, well, my grandfather always does a blessing at family gatherings. Well, then maybe we should do that. The bride is Persian. Her family, her dad is first generation and speaks Farsi. She does not, but we talked about doing something to honor him and his culture. And so the groom is going to learn a couple of phrases in Farsi, which he's going to, at the welcoming when he first arrives, he's going to say directly to her father. It will change the entire feel of that. That took another few minutes to do that. But I could have just said, okay, so we'll come in, then we do dinner. But there's a transition through that. So when you do your planning, I'm almost out of time here, so I got to speed this up. planning, just keep going. One more question, one more question, one more question. What can we do that makes this amazing? Not just good. I'm not trying to get another good rating. I've got plenty of good ratings. What I want to do is to amaze the guest to the point where they're willing to call me and, as this couple did, schedule their availability around. Actually, this couple did not. I take that back. Yesterday's couple did. This couple didn't. But what did happen is the mother found my videos on YouTube, watched some of my videos, said to the bride and groom, go hire him. And even though we were way beyond what their budget was supposed to be, then they hired him. So she had an indirect referral for me and then did that. So I don't want to misrepresent that. So what are you going to do that makes it amazing? So I'm going to just try to show you one thing before I go here, and that is, so this is, I don't know how well they'll see, but see, they get the big screen. So their view from their chair is this. They see me, I sit back there, and then they see all of that. They can see whatever changes, and I don't know how well you can read all of this, hopefully pretty well, but that's just, the first page of what my agenda looks like. This particular one is 5 pages long. See down here, 1 of 5 pages. Can we get that? So there's 5 pages. Page 1 is everything's going to happen, then there's much more detail on the other ones. All right, that takes care of my 1 minute with Randy Bartlett, which we did in 6 minutes and 20 seconds today. I'm getting really bad at this, so try to shorten these. Planning is everything. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I made that up. Bye.